Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping straight into the financial markets for July 7th, 2025. We're using the Lotusbee Wealth Daily Report as our guide here, our mission. Really get under the hood of today's, well, pretty wild market swings, understand what drove them, maybe uncover some surprises. So, okay, let's unpack the broad market picture first. It was definitely a down day. We saw the S&P 500 drop about 0.79%, so roughly 49 points. The Nasdaq Composite, that was down 0.91%. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it fell 0.94%, nearly 422 points. But the Russell 2000, the small caps that got hit hardest, pulled down 1.55%.
Yeah, that Russell 2000 figure really stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shows where the pressure was focused.
And the VIX, the fear gauge, it ticked up a bit, not dramatically, but clearly showing a shift towards caution.
Right. And what's fascinating here, I think, is what Lotusbee identified as these, well, dual forces kind of hitting at the same time.
Yeah.
They called it a double hit, which sounds about right.
A double hit. What were the two forces?
Well, first, you have the escalating trade tensions that's been simmering. But then, layered on top, this very public Musk-Trump drama. That combination, it seems, really fueled the uncertainty. It wasn't just background noise.
No, definitely not. And it hit certain areas harder, you mentioned?
Exactly. Equity benchmarks slid lower, but particularly tech, which is often sensitive to sentiment, and like you pointed out, those small caps.
It really is incredible how specific headlines, especially, personality-driven ones, can move markets so directly, like Tesla. I mean,
Yeah.
down 6.8% today, that's significant.
Huge drop. And Lotusbee tied that directly to Musk announcing a third-party run, and then the immediate back and forth with Trump.
It really highlights this idea of personality risk becoming, well, almost a measurable factor for specific stocks.
It seems so. It's not just fundamentals anymore.
And we saw other losers too, right? Like First Solar, Baxter International. That one seemed linked to CEO uncertainty.
That's what the report suggested, yeah. Ongoing uncertainty weighing on the stock. And Lululemon pulled back too.
But it wasn't all negative. There were some bright spots.
Oh, absolutely. Always pockets of strength somewhere.
Tractor Supply, for instance, was up almost 4% on a good outlook.
Right, positive guidance there.
And DoorDash got a lift from a Deutsche Bank upgrade. Uber saw gains too. Wells Fargo raised targets there.
So a mixed bag within the equity space, even on a down day.
Definitely. Which leads me to wonder, how did other assets react, with equities under pressure from these specific things?
That's where it gets really interesting, actually, because you saw this surprising rally in crypto.
Really? Even with stocks selling off?
Yeah. Bitcoin was up about 0.8%, just over $108,900. Ethereum gained around 1.9%, Solana up about 2.1%.
Huh. So what's the thinking there?
Lotusbee suggests investors might be shifting towards crypto hedges, almost like seeing them as a maybe non-correlated place to park cash when there's uncertainty around tariffs and, traditional policy risks.
A crypto hedge. Interesting. What about traditional safe havens, gold, bonds?
Well, gold actually softened a little bit, didn't really catch a strong safety bid, and treasury yields, they actually nudged a bit higher. Seems like bonds were repricing based on those same trade policy risks that were hitting stocks.
So not a typical flight to safety pattern across the board, more nuanced.
Very nuanced. It suggests investors are looking for safety in different places now, perhaps.
Okay, so we've dissected the stocks, the indices, the Musk drama, the crypto rally. How do we tie this all together? What's the takeaway from today?
I think connecting it to the bigger picture, Lotusbee's view is pretty clear. Brace for more volatility.
Yeah.
Today really highlights that need, especially with that July 9th tariff deadline coming up fast.
Right. That's looming.
And it's a reminder, really, that market drivers aren't just pure economics anymore. It's this blend, this complex mix of geopolitics, individual personalities, and just plain old market sentiment shifting rapidly.
Yeah, this deep dive really showed a market reacting to, well, not just policy, but very specific, almost personal drama, high-profile stuff playing out. And that led to this complex day, right? Sharp declines in some places, but surprising strength elsewhere, like crypto defying the trend.
Exactly. And maybe that leaves us with a sort of provocative thought for you, the listener. In this environment where everything feels so interconnected, how do you figure out what's really moving the needle? Is it the big economic trends we usually watch? Or is it becoming more about these specific headlines, these personal dynamics that grab everyone's attention? Discerning that difference, that seems key now.
That's a great point. Understanding what's signal and what's noise is getting trickier.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fascinating, constantly changing world out there. We hope you continue exploring these forces with us.